Hey you guys, it's me, Deja Sky from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14, and oh my god, today is going to be a part 2 of a video that you have already seen with my special guest, the amazing, the one and only, the drag detective.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Deja. Oh my f***ing god. Oh, can I swear?
Yes, you absolutely can. We'll just bleep it out. Monetization, honey.
Perfect.
I love this so much. Thank you so much for being on my channel, and thank you so much for having me on your channel. It was an amazing experience. I have to say, obviously, being on season 14, people like to talk and chat and read, but Drag Detective has always been so sweet to me and all the girls, so I want to thank you, and season 14 wants to thank you. You can read 15, but don't read 14. I'm just kidding.
I have and I will.
Okay, and don't you forget it. I love it. So before we get started, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this part 2. Deuce, dos, do. Let's do it. So in this video with the Drag Detective, we are going to be looking at the double Shantays and seeing if they really deserve the double Shantay or who we think should have won. I will be looking at the lip syncs and the Drag Detective will be looking at production.
As I do. Branded. I'm really interested to hear your take on this one because this is one of, I think, the more controversial ones because
Ooh.
I did a poll on my story when this came out, and it was 51 to 49 on who people thought should have won.
1% separates?
Yes.
Dang.
Yes. So we're talking about Simone versus KANDY Muse on season
Got
13 to Boss by Fifth Harmony.
First of all, this is one of my favorite fifths. I was a harmonizer. Back in the day, I loved Fifth Harmony, and I have performed Boss so many times. Let's break it down. Okay, so what I love most about Simone, it's kind of the thing about Evie and Brooklyn, is you never see her rattled. You don't see her doing too much. You don't see none of that desperation. You see her as a seasoned performer, sticking within her means and breaking it down and using this. She's using her face. Body language too, but she's more or less like, I have a distinctive way to perform, and that works with this song. Now with KANDY, I felt like it wasn't desperation, but KANDY uses her mouth in such an amazing way. Bitch, that shit is Venus flytrap, but I believe that she's singing the song. I just think that in this particular one, there was moves that didn't need to be in there by KANDY. I think that was her second time lip syncing, and I know she wanted to stay there. So she tried to pull out all the stops. But you have to control yourself. As an intelligent, smart entertainer, you got to control yourselves and know where to pull what out in those times. So in my opinion, if I was going to pick one of them, I would personally pick Simone to stay and KANDY to sashay away. Not discrediting anything. I just think that if I had to pick one, I just felt more control and I was just more entertained by Simone.
This is a very interesting lip sync to me specifically, and I think it kind of shows how kind of weird the newer seasons are, where like you're not just lip syncing if you're in the bottom, you're lip syncing if you're in the top, you're trying not to get pork chopped. And on this specific season, we had seen both of them lip sync more than a couple times.
Yes.
So some of their like natural just style we kind of got used to. So it kind of, you have to pull out new tricks.
Yes.
I personally think KANDY pulled out a newer style and some different tricks, whereas Simone did what we know and love Simone for, but at that point we just, seen it a couple times, so it didn't like stand out as much.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But I mean, it was like everyone is split on this, so it's like whatever. At the end of the day, I'm cool with it, and I think it was a double Shantae because these were the final two of the season. They're the two main characters of the season. Like,
this is the second time that's happened.
Yes.
Of like the top two of the season got the double Shantae. Is there a formula?
Well, let me just sip some tea. No, okay. But really, I mean, if two of your greatest competitors who are providing the best TV end up in the bottom two, why would you not save them both? Like, it makes sense. Especially KANDY, who technically lost because RuPaul is like, go home, and then she's like, oh, never mind. So even though KANDY technically lost, like, she was still the best character on that season. She was given the best television.
I literally say, like, because everyone was so neutral and tame except for KANDY and Tamisha. Like, everyone was bold in their confessionals, but when it came to the actual, like, talking with everyone was very tame and to themselves. Again, this is during a pandemic. We were the next season, so I understand the whole, like, I don't want to ruffle feathers. I kind of want to just do my thing and chill. I understand that, but hands down, KANDY was like, no given. So
this one is one of the most, probably, I would say generally called the best lip sync of all time. Always in everyone's top 3. Alyssa Edwards and TATIANNA.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Diabetti and Deja Sky. That's crazy. I was thinking of...
Oh,
oh, you said best? I'm sorry.
Right. Sorry. Anyway, second best.
Okay.
I feel like this one was a moment where the show reached a new level. Like, I feel like over time there's different moments of the show where it levels up, and this felt like that moment. Shut Up and Drive, Alyssa and TATIANNA, All Stars 2. What did you think?
We were robbed. Rihanna, you robbed us at the Super Bowl, Rihanna. We robbed. Rigor mortis.
If she brought them out, at the Super Bowl,
it would have been iconic.
We would have literally the gag of the century.
When I tell you, it would have taken it there. Put them on the risers. Anyways, okay. The lip sync. So we saw TATIANNA lip sync from her season. Right? She was fairly new. It was like 2 to 3 times she had performed. Now, Alyssa, stone cold assassin, right? She has all the dancing, the technique, the face, everything. So in my opinion, I remember when they walked out, I hands down was like, Alyssa's got it. Like, hands down, I was like, I love you, TATIANNA, but bye. When I tell you the synchronicity in this lip sync, it was like, oh, you're going to go this way? So am I. Oh, you're going to do this? So am I. Like, it was so good. It was iconic. This, like, literally, there's a reason why it is said that it is the best lip sync of all time, because they both held their own. And when you're going up against Alyssa, I'm sure it's, oh my God, it's Alyssa. You didn't see that on TATIANNA's face. TATIANNA said, bitch, I'm staying. I can wear you out. And that she did. Hands down. One of the best links one of the best lip syncs of all time. And yes, deserved double Shantae. I was going to say sachet. Shantae.
Yeah, and this is just like, sometimes the stars align. They were wearing black and white. They were doing so many of the same moves. Like, and okay, listen, when I heard Shut Up and Drive, I was like, is this going to like translate to a lip sync song that well? And
true.
It did. Because, like, this was, like, one of the first Rihanna songs we ever had in a lip sync. And I'm like, you're going to pick Shut Up and Drive?
Right.
And then it's
There's
like,
so many more options.
yes. But, like, no, it completely makes sense. And at this point, Adore had quit. So there's one less queen already than there should have been. They had space to have another episode. So why would you not save the 2 underdogs who have been set up for this first half of the competition as, like, basically I don't want to say victims, but that's basically what they were.
Kind of. It was like, it was someone against them, or they were unjustly let go. Yeah, it was very that. It was very that.
Yes, like, it was like, well, the odds are stacked against us. We're Alaska Talks is eating. We're just going to be, all ushered out. And they're like, no. This is, like, our time to fight. And when they came back for that next episode, it was like, oh, anybody can win this season now. Like, everything is evened out.
I am so glad you said that, because I remember when they both walked in, I said, it is anyone's game, except for Serena. It is anyone's game. And someone's going to take except for Serena, but someone is going to take this crown. And it was...
And, they went home. They both went home back to back after this. But for that one moment, everything was, like, perfect in the world.
Perfect.
Alyssa and TATIANNA are back, and that's all we needed to survive.
That's all we needed.
I think if you asked most people, most Drag Race fans, what is their all-time favorite moment of the show, it is both of them coming back and sending home
getting rid of Fifi. No!
Oh,
actually, yes.
Yeah.
But it's the cheat. if it's one thing that reality TV is, they love a hero villain moment, and they got their justice. It was just perfectly timed. It was just like, how can this become even more perfect? You send Fifi home. Dang, it was just
narratively.
You did that, Drag Race.
Chef's kiss. Up next, we have one of the very first double Shantays, the very first wig reveal. We have Alyssa Edwards and ROXXXY Andrews to Whip My Hair. Another moment that I think leveled up the show to like a new realm.
Can I tell you right now, ROXXXY Andrews changed the entire community of drag with just one reveal. Okay? This was season 5. I'm still to this day confused why there hasn't been... I mean, there's been obviously wig reveals where you take it off when you show your bald head. But I'm surprised that it hasn't been till season 5 that we saw a wig on a wig. It's like a quintessential drag trick. Like, I do it at my brunch. I do like a wig reveal at my brunch. But when I tell you, nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. Now, Alyssa Edwards, again, an assassin. She was known for lip syncing. That was her talent. That's what she does. So again, ROXXXY goes in as the underdog. Within 9.5 seconds, she holds her own by just going like this. Just this. Now, during the lip sync, they both turned it the F out. It was sickening. Now, again, I was getting whiplash looking at ROXXXY doing. It was sickening.
I hope they had Advil ready to go.
Oh, girl, the ibuprofen was just in my arty cheek. I was just ready to. It was iconic. Like, I think this is one of the. Dang, that's 2 lip syncs Alyssa is in. That is, technically, if we're. I'm just going to call a spade. Coco versus Alyssa is another iconic lip sync. So Alyssa Edwards is in 3 iconic lip syncs. But in my opinion, this was hands down a double Shantay. I know that in Untucked they were feeling a type of way, but we only saw what we saw on screen, and it was sickening.
Coco and Alyssa, talk about going on reality television and saying, I'm here to make good reality television.
Right.
Period. That's what I'm here for. The way that they would only give little crumbs of their storyline every episode, because they knew...
So smart.
They knew they weren't going to send one of them home until they got that full arc closed and shut that book and we're good to go.
Oh, so good.
I literally said on the podcast, if Robin and Amethyst got called out for f***ing and they said, oh, I hate this bitch because she left me on red, production would be like, okay, top 4? Like...
So, now, me being the person that I am, I guess I don't think like that. You know what? I lied. I think like that now. But on set, I honestly was like, everyone on set treated this as a competition, and that's what it is. It is a reality TV show competition. But, like, it didn't dawn on me to think of stuff like that. Like, hey, you got to be I mean, hey, I made it all the way. I wasn't on 1 episode. I'm good. I'm happy. But, like, I do think back and I'm like, I should have made this a moment. I should have, but you know, just things that like, oh shit, that makes perfect. You know who is perfect at it? Cornbread, the snack, Jeté, is made for TV. She and Jasmine Kennedy, those 2 are made for TV. And the reason why they're made for TV is they're going to give you exactly what you want, but it's going to be authentic. They're not just going to go off the handle and scream at everyone. It's going to be in the moment, but they're going to do it, and they're going to give you what you want and what you paid for. They're sickening. But it did not dawn on me to think, like, there's a camera in my face. Like, I should be, you know? It didn't dawn on me.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, I think it's one of those things you, like, day 1, you either get it or you don't, and Alyssa and Coco got it. And there's no way that they were going to send Alyssa home. Even if ROXXXY, you know, when you think of that lip sync, you immediately think of the wig reveal. You think of ROXXXY. But Alyssa and Coco still had a couple more episodes left in them. And, you know, we got to see the resolution of their storyline, whatever, what have you. This one, I think, both make sense as, like, they both deserve to stay. But it also makes sense as, like, why the f*** would we send home Alyssa Edwards? Like, are we dumb? No, we're not dumb.
She's TV gold. Like, TV gold.
Yes, exactly.
There's literally, I feel like there's, like, when I think of Drag Race, I think of, like, a handful of queens. which have quintessential like personalities. I think of like Alyssa Edwards. I think of like Adore. I think of Latrice. I think of Bianca. I think of, you know, like Katya. Like those are like the ones that I'm like, those are the ones you think of. Alaska. Like those are the ones that you think of that are like, you were made for this franchise. And you knew what you were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Up next we have, wow, we're getting a lot of like repeat queens in these because we have another Brooklyn Heights one.
Sickening.
With Rajah O'Hara to one of my favorite Janet Jackson songs.
Yes, and, me like, too!
Janet, every song from every album could be a lip sync song from Janet. Like,
right.
Let's be real. Miss You Much on All-Star 6.
Hold on. This is like my second favorite Janet Jackson song of all time. My first.
What's your first?
Is definitely All For You.
Oh, okay. See, I'm a Rhythm Nation girly.
Yeah.
I love me some Rhythm Nation.
That's like my third, like. And then it goes, I love Feedback, because that was my era. Okay. So,
yes.
So Miss You Much, like in general, I just love the beat. I love the vibe of it. Can I just tell you, I personally think that Rajah was very plucked when Brooklyn walked out. And I would be too, but like she's a lip sync assassin of her season. I mean, I would consider Rajah a lip sync assassin of her season as well. But Brooklyn has the stunts and the tricks and all that stuff. When I tell you, Rajah let that lady have it within 30 seconds. She let that white woman have it. What I love most is sometimes I feel like on All-Star seasons, because there isn't a lot of stakes when it comes to the winner or the top, because you're not going home. You're not lip syncing for your life. I feel like sometimes on All-Star seasons, when it's for your legacy or to send someone home, I feel like they don't fight as much as when you do when it's for your life. Like I could go home right now, I'm gonna pull out everything. When I tell you, Rajah was like, I'm lip syncing for my life. That's what I loved. And it was another, anything you can do, I can do better. Oh, you want to do a cartwheel to a split? I'll do a cartwheel to a shablam, right? Like it was so good. And their musicality was great too. It wasn't just a stunt thing. They had good beats. They had sickening, like two sickening performers. And I've seen them live and it's just as sickening. Like hands down, double win. If I had to pick one, I think that Rajah stomped her like a little more, like a smidge more. But it was still double Shantae worthy.
And especially on All-Star seasons, like there's not necessarily like, when there's lip sync assassins involved, it can't be like, oh, the storyline between this queen and this queen, or like this queen was giving this. Because like one of them is just like walking in for 5 minutes and dipping. So...
Cut me my check.
literally, I'm here and I'm gonna go. So I don't necessarily have like, oh, Brooklyn with da-da-da-da. It's just like, that was a good lip sync. That was a good lip sync.
Now, can I also say something controversial? Actually, it's not controversial. All-Star 6, because we're talking about All-Star 6. In my opinion, another double Shantae that could have happened was Physical with Laganja and Trinity. They both turned the party in different ways. Laganja's going to give you every trick in the book, but Trinity still held her own. She gave you choreography. She gave you all that stuff. Trinity's not a stunt queen. So in my opinion, that could have been another double Shantae. Don't read me to filth, Laganja fans. That's my sister. I'm just saying.
Could you imagine 2 double Shantaes in a row?
That
would have been nuts, but it was deserved. Yeah. So, and I'll say, like I've said this before, All-Star 6 is the best season of lip syncs. It has the most consistent lip syncs across the board. So
say it again.
The best season for lip syncs.
Period. The songs were great too. Whoever picked the songs on All-Star 6 needs to pick the songs for every season of All-Star.
I mean, okay, except Boom Clap, because we all wish it was Vroom Vroom. Okay. Let's be real.
That's a little... we won't touch that one, honey. We won't touch that one.
So our next lip sync is another one that I think is very close. And there's a couple lip syncs where... when you're watching it, you feel like you're not watching a lip sync. You feel like you're watching the person who wrote the damn song, the person who is singing the damn song, perform that song. And this is one of them. It is Monet versus Manila to Jump to It. Jump to It.
The way that Monet can captivate a f***ing entire room is pretty insane to me. The thing about Manila and Monet They're very opposite performers. I think that Monet kind of goes for, she has stunts and she kind of goes for like that camp factor almost. Whereas Manila, when I tell you, what song did she do? The Whitney Houston song, How Will I Know, right?
Oh, yeah. That was a moment.
When she used face, she didn't do much, but we were so drawn in. And that's how I feel like with this particular lip sync with both of them. Both of them had their campy moments. They fed on each other a lot. They were, you know, doing a lot of duality with each other, which is great. I mean, if it works, it works. The fact that they knew even the spoken word, that is telling you that these bitches know their motherfucking lyrics. And like, to me, I know that a lot of people will say, well, of course it was a double Shantae because they needed them for... No, in general, this was a double Shantae. What, like, there's no like, well, they needed them for this and this. No. It was a double Shantae. And the fact that producers knew that, that's sickening. The fact that like producers could just like be like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be good. And it was. And it was sickening.
I truly think Monet X Change is the most versatile performer or lip syncer. Because we've seen her do sexy. We've seen her do, like, you know, Pound the Alarm, like, you know, those, like, bitchy tracks. Right. She did Wheels on the... What was it? Not Wheels on the Bus. What nursery rhyme did she do on All-Star 7?
Cockadoodle...
Oh, McDonald's. Oh, McDonald's.
Oh, McDonald's.
And she ate it up. Like, Monet can do anything.
And spoken word. She did spoken word.
Yes, spoken word. Yes. I would love to see... Because in New York, don't they do those, like... where they'll just throw a song at a queen and they have to do it on the spot?
Yeah, they
do that to Monet.
They do like drag. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
People say, oh, well, it had to be a double Shantae because of like the Lollapalooza. No, it didn't. They could have said,
it didn't.
Monet X Change, you win. And Manila, since you were top 2, you're safe too. Like,
Boom.
This was just a... Because there was... Whenever there's a synchronicity to it... Synchronicity?
Yes.
Synchronicity. To the lip sync... They usually do it a double Shantae because it's like when they're doing everything together and it's like a conjoined performance, it's kind of
like a duet.
How can you separate it? Yeah, it's like in your head, it's like, well, they go together. They both should win.
Particularly, I don't love the song, but they made me love it, if that makes sense. Like, I was like, this song is kind of whatever, but they made me, by the end of that song, I was like, okay, I'm getting it on iTunes. I'm getting Annie.
I love when there's either a song I don't like that a lip sync makes me like, okay, or a song I've never heard of in my life, and then when there's a lip sync and it's suddenly 100% pure love, never heard of that in my life.
Oh, you're young. And you're not a drag queen. Not, to me,
I was not alive.
That was like one of the first songs I ever like performed was 100% Pure Love. Just because it's so drag, like eccentric. To me, that's what I kind of feel like with music videos. If there's a song that I don't particularly love, then I watch the visuals for it, I'm like, oh, sickening.
We literally have a double Shantae the very next episode after this Manila and Monet one with Latrice and Monique. This was like their first ever Lollapalooza. You know, they were testing the waters.
Yes.
It was to Sissy That Walk by RuPaul, which if I was going to have any of those songs, that's the one you want to have from that episode.
That or Adrenaline. I feel like those are two, like, they build and stuff. It's not just like, Kitty Girl is very like, Kitty Girl the whole time.
Yeah. Adrenaline's kind of risky because there's so much of it where it's just down. So you need to find stuff to do, but...
Right. Sissy That Walk on All Stars 4. Now, it made perfect sense why they went last. Because this was Clash of the Titans. It was sickening. Also, something that I think people forget all the time. Latrice is a dancer. Shanae's turn, split. She's a dancer. She doesn't just walk around. Like, she actually... is flexible and moves and she's like trained. Like, it's confusing to me when people don't ever consider, I'm like, no, she's an actual dancer. But anyways, this was sickening. This was very parallel-y because they both had a wig reveal. They both turned it the fuck out and they both were fighting to stay because Monique, guarantee you, did not go into that cocky. She knew that her shit was on the line and Latrice was not to be played with. So I love that they both literally were like, this is the life. I could go home and she could stay. That's why she was so shook when they like bamboozled her and said like, oh, Latrice and then double Shantae. In my opinion, this was hands down a double Shantae. Like they both turned the party.
Well, and my favorite thing about Mo's lip syncs on All Stars 4 is all of her costumes had like so many little pieces that would reveal, but we would just cut to like all of them off or like things all over the floor and we're like, how did this even happen? So I feel like during this lip sync we missed a lot of her like ripping this outfit, piece by piece.
Right.
But I'm sure I
Yeah.
had a bigger feel to it in the moment. But especially for trying out a Lollapalooza for the first time, this could have been really shitty if all the queens who were in the season went home and all the ones who had already gone home came back. That was never going to happen.
But could you imagine
The gag?
how juicy that would be?
Yes.
Oh my God, if everyone, like they swapped, except obviously for Manila and Monet.
Yeah.
That would have been unprecedented.
Yes. From a reality storytelling perspective, though, would not have worked. So it would not have happened. And luckily, the people left were all incredible lip syncers. So it's like, whatever. Specifically Mo, who I think is one of the best lip syncers we've seen on the show. The first ever All-Stars double Shantae. And that is an All-Stars 1, Besties, Raven, and Jujubee to Dancing on My Own by Robin.
Can we just talk about All-Stars 1?
Someone
There's
has
so
to.
much shit about All-Stars 1. It is a pretty iconic season. It was a very weird format, but they had really good moments. Like, I love the season 1. Every single last one of them, except for one, was like a fan favorite. Like, people were like, oh my God, you need to... Can you guess which one? Can you guess which one? I watch it to this day. Like, I think it's iconic. I just saw Manila, girl. Anyway, sorry. The lip sync. I think this was the first time I, like, cried during a lip sync. And, like, I didn't even know who these two bitches were. I never met them. I don't know her. But we were so compelled to, like, want to hug them and want to be like, it's okay. Because what they did, shady Drag Race, is you had them in teams this entire time. You relied on them this entire time. And then you just rip them away like, when do you gotta go? It's like, I want to stay, but I also don't want you to go. And so the emotions were real. Raven has never cried since and never cried, but,
never again.
But they were like real tears. And like, I also find it very intriguing that like, they still emoted and they were still like lip syncing. It wasn't like they just like were, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like they actually still were lip syncing. It's just obviously they're not gonna, do all that. But I loved it. Like to me, when I tell you, when Chad was like, yes, yeah, that was me. That was me. Yes. It was sickening. Sickening. So emotional.
And this is another one of those ones where I feel like everything had to like, the stars had to all align. It had to be this song. You couldn't do this to Nasty by Janet Jackson.
Right.
Never would have worked.
We could try. You could try.
The Butterflies felt that to Nasty by Janet Jackson, but not in this moment.
Oh my God.
So, like, it had to be Dancing on My Own. It had to be Raven and Jujubee, who were the biggest fan favorites at the time.
Yes.
And it had to be at the very end of the season where we've seen them come together even more than we did on their original season. So it's like all these little pieces had to come together. And production said, oh, perfect. So why would we split this up? We have something perfect.
Right.
They go into the finale. They're the underdogs in the finale. They have a storyline going into the finale. And it's not just going to be Chad steamrolling, which, I mean, she did anyway. But it's not just going to be, oh, obviously Chad's winning. Because now we have this big story going into a finale.
Right. I think sometimes I'm like, is it better for fans to be upset or is it better for fans to be happy? I think happy, right? Like, just be happy.
But production doesn't know what the fan reception is going to be. They can guess because they can say,
That's
oh,
true.
we want to edit them this way, or we want to edit them this way. But until it hits the television screens, they don't know. They just have to make an educated guess. Yeah. And they guessed right here.
And I love them both. They are literally one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I remember, obviously, Raven was obviously the makeup artist on our season, but we were never allowed to talk to her. It was still in the middle of COVID, so it was very separation. But I remember I worked with her at her first show back. We literally talked for 20 minutes, and it was just like her being sweet and just praising and just really uplifting me and making sure that I understood, like, you did so good. I was upset that you left. And then Jujubee, I went to her show Death Drop in the UK. Again, sweet heart. These people, there's something about the older generation of Drag Race that I love because it's very that way of like nurturing and like sisterhood. And it's not cutthroat. You know what I mean? It's very like, we adore you. We love you. Come join us. And I love it. I felt right at home. Well, you guys, that was the video. Thank you so much to the Drag Detective. I love you. I adore you. Look out for a part 3 or 4 because we have some other stuff coming.
We have lots of things on the docket.
A lot. So many things. Well, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Drag Detective everywhere, except on Grindr, where you can find me at...
You took my name on Grindr? Wow. I was robbed. It's like the shoulder pad challenge. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, wherever I go, the robbery follows. The riggery and the robbery. So.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to follow me on all my social media. Without further ado, good night. Bye.
Bye.
Love ya.